go.
Y'all remember that?
Right.
Hello and welcome to All About You with OMG and Friends, where we talk about the things that you think about and some things you don't. I am your host, OMG, along with my co-host and also our special studio guest, our co-host.
I'm Susan Ed, your wellness warrior.
Daydream.
Hi, and I'm Selena Bourne.
Now, Selena is our guest. She's been here once before. Can you tell us about what you're doing now? And
Sure. My name is Selena Bourne. I am the author of All That Glitters, From Selfishness and Despair to Restoration, which is a book that pretty much talks about self-reflection, self-realization, and improved communications with your family. I am also the founder of Open Honest Communication LLC, which is all about transforming family relationships through the art of proper
oh my
communication.
gosh, don't we need that right
Yes.
now? Oh my gosh.
And
Yes.
then some.
Yeah,
And then
absolutely. And family, we'd like to thank you for joining us today, and we ask that you please join in on the conversation, where your thoughts, your comments, and your opinions help drive the conversation. Today we're going to talk about boy bye, and with that saying is so appropriate. Now, in a world where most things are fake, like breasts and cheeks and lips and buttocks and hair and eyes and food and yes, the news, how might one go about trying to find genuine love? Or is that such a thing anymore? Has that become fake too? What is love? Perhaps that needs to be redefined as well. What is the basis for establishing a real, genuine, fundamental love relationship? Are men willing to fulfill these needs? Let's talk about what is required to open the discussion of finding a true, authentic, organic love interest. Let's begin with finding out what women really want from their lovers so that we don't have to dismiss you with boy bye. Now, for those of you who don't know, boy bye is an attitude and it's a combination of words, but it means to go ahead with yourself, get out of my face, leave me alone, get away from me, and the answer is no. The term boy bye is basically an East Coast term and used mostly in the northeastern states where we don't have time to waste words on someone because, frankly, it's cold. and we suggest keeping it moving, so because when somebody walks up to you, what they're going to say is either going to be stupid, a plain lie, or make no sense at all. So let's describe what the woman today needs and how we can avoid telling our men, boy bye.
Well, we need men to be men. That's
I know,
one thing.
right?
Exactly.
I don't know that they know how.
There's quite a few older guys or age appropriate guys that you're still a boy. Or
Well,
boy
they're a little less
tendencies.
than
You're
we
still
are when it
playing
comes
the
to
game,
maturity.
and it's like, why? Like I thought you should be past that.
I know.
But I think
You
part
know?
of that problem is a problem that as women, there are women who've created that problem now.
Yep.
Because I always say that if you bring in me craziness and I'm accepting it, then that's going to let you believe that you can bring craziness around across the board.
Right.
So as long as they keep doing it and we're not showing them, once again, back into this communication, we're not showing them the way that we would like to be treated because half the time we don't know.
Well, for those of us that do know, it's like we don't get that much attention. You're looking for the ones that don't know.
Right.
You know?
Because it's easy.
Yeah, you don't
It's
have to
easy.
do anything. Nothing is required. Nothing is expected. But how soon, Selena, should communication come into play? And we have to discuss exactly what it is that women want. I know for me, honesty is the first thing.
Oh, definitely. Honest communication should happen immediately at the very beginning of the
Absolutely.
relationship.
Okay.
Because a lot of times, we are living in this microwave society. We're living in this reality show society.
What's real?
And
I like the microwave society.
I like that too.
Yeah.
and
That was what
especially
they
with reality shows, I mean, that's like my guilty pleasure, but you see so often how everybody's fake. They are putting on airs, they're putting on a mask, a facade, to get what they think they want. And even to the point of not even trying to find out the truth or get honest communication out of their partner. I was watching an episode of one of my favorite shows recently, and she was like, "Well, my friends are asking me, what school did he go to? Does he have any children? Has he ever been married before?" And she said, "I didn't ask that question because there's probably a woman out there who did ask all those questions, and she's not where I'm at right now. I don't want to mess up my."
Oh my God! See, that's what I'm talking
So
about.
ignorance is bliss.
That's
for her.
Ignorance is
That's
exactly.
Wow.
I'm like, that is just
No.
crazy
mentality.
to me.
They're still stuck in, what is it? my man is your man is her
A
man is her.
Yeah,
Right.
you got me looking forward to the weekend. No,
It's too,
no, ma'am.
We're really not expressing what it is that we want.
No, I want to know who I'm dealing with.
Right.
What I'm dealing.
Absolutely.
We all have baggage. We all have a past, but I'm gonna do what I can and make sure that my past stays there and not disrespect you as a person, and most definitely not disrespect whatever our relationship is, whether it's a love, intimate relationship, or a friendship, or if it's a work relationship. I'm not gonna disrespect that because I don't want to disrespect you as a person.
Right.
So I don't want to
understand
be
that.
disrespected either. So I want to know what I'm getting into.
Right.
Do I want to deal with this? Is it too much for me? Or, okay, you see it as a big deal. I don't. We're good. Let's continue. I don't
Instead of 3 years
understand
down the
ignorance is
road,
bliss.
right.
I can't go through life like this.
I know.
I
But
can't
then
do
you're
it.
saying that you want to leave the past in the past for the most part, but at some point you do have to talk about that because
Yes.
it depends.
Now that's
on,
honesty.
That's
Yes.
That's
total
what
honesty.
that
You
is.
have
But
to talk
sometimes there's
about.
such a thing as too much honesty. Just
Well,
get to that in a minute.
I think you need to discuss the parts of your past that are
Relevant.
prohibiting you from moving forward.
Yes.
Okay.
And there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. That I
Yeah,
agree with.
yeah,
but
yeah.
but also in that aspect, I'm not going to hold you accountable for what someone else has done to me in the past.
Right,
we need to
right.
remember you're a different person.
Right.
Right.
So I'm going to learn what I need to not treat you that way or to get myself
But see,
in that hole that I
that's
got
where,
into before.
But that's where the communication comes in, especially the honesty. Because if you're in a loving relationship and you bring up some things that have happened to you in your past, and then you see how your partner reacts to that. I mean, if they're loving, if they're kind, if they're willing to say, hey, that's not the type of person that I am, let me help you work through this, then you have a
Right,
solid
right,
relationship.
right,
You have a
right.
keeper.
You have a keeper,
Right, right.
So sometimes talking about some of those things, even if it's like you're thinking
Absolutely.
you're bringing baggage, you may need to open up some of those bags.
Not to
Right.
mention too,
And we did a
if they're
show
not-
on that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Baggage, luggage.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
We did a show on that.
Yeah, major.
Yeah. The trunk.
Reel it out, get your back hurt. Yeah. And I think too, people spend so much of their time. I think I've told some of the younger nieces and nephews this before, and I get that from my mom when she said, so let me see if I understand this. You're prepared to get entirely naked with someone
Right.
and exchange fluids.
Right. And that's
But you
just
can't have a
intimate moving.
but you can't have a conversation about those things that are going to happen more often because it's a part of your day-to-day life. The things, the baggage, the things that prohibit you from being the person you need to be, that's what you're going to be carrying with you day in and day out.
Exactly.
Absolutely. You want to take us to break since you
Well, yes, but we want to thank everyone who's already following along on our live Facebook feed. Thank you. Shout out to my mom. Always
Hey, Mom.
Hey, Mom.
Good.
And also
Good.
to Sandra and to Q. What's up, Q? So thank you, everyone. Please give us a call here at the show, 713-789-0096. What is it that you look for in a relationship? Whatever type of relationship it is, whether it's a life partner, if it's a business partner, if it's a friendship, what is it that you're looking for, and what is it that makes you say, boy, bye? Give us a call here, 713-789-0096. You can also text us at 833-644-2638. That is 833-OMG-AND-YOU. And don't forget to like our Facebook page, follow along with us on Twitter at All About You Show, and also hit us up on our website, www.allaboutyou.info, and that's allaboutYou, the letter U.info. And we will be right back.
Boy, that was a lot.
I know.
I'm surprised
from here.
I'm surprised you didn't give us break it.
She was getting it. I was like,
She was sweet. She was very good.
I'm gonna think you like.
and I was looking at Joy too,
Corner of
like.
my eye and Joy, right?
Any minute now, Joy's gonna be like, y'all need to just.
Yeah, you just shut it down. Okay.
That's good.
When do you want me to do the FedEx?
Whenever when we come back,
When we come back?
yeah, I'll bring us back in and you can. Or
Okay.
you do that and I'll bring you back. Whichever way.
Okay. I'm gonna do a quick FedEx promo right before we go back live. What about the fans?
I know, right?
Can you wear sunglasses?
I know, right? Oh, these are short.
No.
Yes, I had on some of those.
Today
Depends on what I'm doing.
I guess it's just the angles. They look.
Yeah, today was, yeah.
The way the feet is looking, can we bring you in this way and you should
I come
this
in.
way? Yeah,
Yeah,
because you're
you see?
right at the edge.
Oh yeah, you're right. I see that.
Is it the giant?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
You are.
I live there. May as well just sit there.
I live on the edge.
That's right.
Edge, on the edge. Dorothy.
Right? And that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, now we can see you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, now better.
I was holding the string so hard. Can you catch a cramp in your hand?
Yes, you can.
Right there.
It's good, and it's still gonna be sore tomorrow.
I'm like, it's a hard muscle. It was talking about me and crap.
Okay, this is all the same stuff.
We're coming back in 10 seconds.
Okay.
We already got our expert. We just need her opinion on stuff.
You ready?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I'm ready.
Here we go. Your mics don't want to go.
There is a profitable FedEx route for sale. It's a drop and hook line haul position. And it says profitable FedEx and haul positions for sale. This opportunity features 2 dedicated lanes with the growth potential coming to fruition relatively quick. You can contact, Doug Huddleston at magi1215@yahoo.com. That is MAGI1215 at yahoo.com.
Okay, it's a FedEx business. Most
Money
people don't know that FedEx owns nothing except airplanes.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else
Nice.
is privately owned. But anyway, guys, we're back and you're listening to All About You, and I am your host, OMG, along with my co-host,
Susan Net, your wellness warrior.
Daydream.
And Selena Bourne.
our special studio guest. Okay, so we're talking about boy bye and basically what women like in a man, or what we're finding we're lacking sometimes when men come to us. So if you're the guys out there, y'all need to be listening to this. But the average woman, I know for me, honesty is first. What would be the primary?
Actually, that is me too, because then I'm working with good information.
Mhm.
Whatever decision I make going forward, I know it's based on good information.
And that's important.
Right, and I feel in hand with honesty is trust.
Mm.
Oh, definitely. That's what I was gonna say.
Trust.
You have to
I've
trust.
I've learned through the years to not ignore my gut instinct,
Right.
or
Mhm.
not completely ignore it.
Yeah, 'cause
I'm not gonna
we give
run
up
with
right,
it anymore.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's always one extreme to the next.
You know, like I told
But-
my daughter recently, trust but verify.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
There you
so
go.
check it out.
Trust
And see,
no
how-
one
how
else's
do we trust?
information.
The world is untrustworthy.
Right.
The damn news is untrustworthy.
Mhm.
You look at someone, you don't know if that's that person.
Right, right. It's like what did my nephew called it? They sent their representative.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
We all do that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We all
Yes.
send our representative.
Well, at least I know the same information my
Right,
representative knows.
right.
Okay.
And my thing is, how long did the representative stay?
Okay.
Because when did we get to meet the actual person? Because that's
See, it
the other
doesn't take
thing
long. It
too.
doesn't take long. If it's not the real you, it's going to
Mhm.
come
Yes.
through pretty soon.
Right.
But I have a list here that some women in their 30s want honest, they want to laugh,
Yeah.
they want
that too.
kindness, they want family, they want
Mhm.
funny, they want caring, they want sense of humor again, relationship, kids, and loyal.
Mhm.
Now, it's getting progressively different, but the very first thing on 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, and 50-year-olds, and I can verify for 60-year-olds, that honesty is the
Honesty,
number one answer.
Mhm.
So I
Right.
guess that's what everybody needs to kind of go towards. But also, some of the research says, but not too much
Not
honesty.
too much honesty.
See, how do you know what to tell? See, I don't want to overtell anything. You know what I
Right.
mean?
There's not.
I mean, there's no need
They
to
don't need to know
engage. That's my point.
everything.
There's no need to engage.
Mhm.
Because you create issues in your relationship when you give up way too much information.
Yeah.
And he'll bring back, a man will come back and, Remember you told me?
You're like, what?
Yeah, right?
Well, you know, us females, we're good about that too.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's true.
definitely.
We were
Stay
gifted.
guarded.
We're
Stay
gifted with
guarded.
that.
I know, right?
That memory.
Mhm. My husband was mentioning that the other day about women. He's like, man, don't tell a woman anything. She'll bring that stuff back
Oh,
on you.
you
You'll be
will.
trying to remember when you said it.
Right, yes,
Go
a
back
long time.
So what do you think is the next level of requirement that women are looking for?
Well, like you mentioned on your list, I want to say that I know the older that I have gotten, it's care, being caring.
Mm.
Yes,
and-
absolutely.
and
I don't know that
sensitive.
people know how to do that.
Yeah,
Not even for each other.
exactly. Because you've been married a long time. I've been
Mhm.
married going on 10 years now, and you get into that routine, and
Right.
every so often I have to, reel it back in and tell my husband, hey, you need to
Date me.
date me.
Exactly.
Exactly. Because
Exactly.
you just
Court
get in that
me,
routine
okay?
and you don't remember to care. Sometimes
Yeah, I get that.
you can be callous with each other. They
Oh,
say the
absolutely.
person that's closest to you is the one that can hurt you the worst.
Oh, yeah. Because and I've heard from so many times, well, I'm here.
Right. Exactly.
And I was like, because my
That's
dad used to be that way
not
with my mom.
Mhm.
I would never hear him, tell her. He would be more inclined to say, where you going? That's when she knew she looked real good.
Right.
Because he'd be curious, where you going looking like that?
Right.
But still, he would never say, oh, you look good in that, or
Exactly.
that looks good. But they really want to know.
Right.
Their egos really want to know
They need
to
when
know.
they're
Oh,
styling.
they
He showed
Yeah,
his,
men-
he showed his
yeah.
love and care through jealousy.
Yeah, right.
But you have to think about it. But did she do that to him? See, you get stuck in that
Mhm.
rut because I tell my husband the same thing. I said, I can walk down the halls at work and get compliments every 5 steps. And I said, oh, you look nice, your hair, I like it.
Right.
Yeah.
He said nothing. He's like, well, if it look bad, I tell you. I'm like, that's the thing, But then and then he'll flip it on me and say, well, when was the last time you told me I look good? And I'm like,
Mhm.
ooh. You have to think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, right,
that's
right.
all part of having
That's
that
part of the
communication.
communication, so you know what
Absolutely.
works.
Because sometimes we don't know. Yeah,
Right.
it's hard to know.
Yeah, I guess we have to all continue to. This is one thing I believe in. I know this is gonna sound crazy. I have always believed in arranged marriages.
You
I
said
know
that
this-
before. It
I've
was
said
like,
that before. I know I
really?
have. Yeah, because first Beyonce and Jay-Z have that.
Mhm.
Right.
I've said this years ago. Now it's coming into light where he is admitting that. We weren't. My marriage was a lie, and so now I guess they're trying to come into it. But
Mhm.
I think when marriages are arranged, you know what you want your child to experience or your kid to have. So you introduce them to someone that has similar values, and morals and standards the way you do to pair them together. Nowadays, you have a bunch of inbreds. They don't know what's wrong. Nobody
well,
knows.
you're
And you know what? I can see your point.
You know what I
with the
mean?
whole arranged marriage, only because think about it. In our society, what we do is we have that little fall in love period. We have that dating period. We have that old feel good period.
The honeymoon.
The honeymoon.
Mhm.
Right. Then when you get into the heart of the relationship, it's sort of like reality slaps you in the face.
This is
But
real.
with an arranged marriage, from the beginning, you're going to have to work hard
You have to
at
get to
that
know
Yes,
it. That's
relationship.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when in this country, I think what we do, and I used to tell young ladies this all the time: the longer he dates you, the less likely he is to marry you. I hate to sound that way, but that's usually true.
Mhm.
So in this society, we date for years, then
Right.
get married, then you're bored. when you have an arranged marriage, going in, I've got to get in and put some work in and learn this person.
From
So
the
then the
start.
dating starts after you get married.
Mhm.
That's
But,
the difference.
It also, I agree. I understand where you're coming from, but I also, from this standpoint, having children, I have 3 kids. My oldest is 24, and my youngest is 18, and my son is in the middle, 21. And so I've always tried to, from the very beginning, talk to them about relationships and explain to them that it's hard work.
It
That
is.
you have to put forth the effort. That so they would know what to expect when they got into those situations.
Because that love
So,
fades, and you got to
definitely.
really get. We all.
It's all about educating them.
Mhm. And it's not about the easy, because I've even told the kids, I'm thinking, I don't want to hear about it when everybody's got a job
Right.
and everything is good, because that's when it's easy. It's when the in-laws come to stay with you, somebody gets sick, somebody gets
Right.
laid off. That's
Right.
when you know the meat and potatoes of what your marriage or your
Absolutely.
relationship is made of. And that's when you also find out about that other person.
Right.
Like, how do they respond when it gets tough?
Who your partner truly is.
Exactly. What are
Exactly.
they prepared to do or not do when it gets tough? And I think because when they're watching TV, so many of those relationships,
They're so fleeting.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. And people think it's okay. That's the thing. They've made it where it sounds like it's okay to not want a lasting relationship.
Well, they
that's-
make it
that's
sound
where
like
we
it's
are now.
okay that relationships are disposable.
Right. And
That
so
you don't
that's
have
the
to put
problem.
forth any effort. If
Exactly.
I don't like you, if you're a boy, bye. I can find somebody.
Mhm.
else.
That's it. That's
Mhm.
exactly
That's
right.
exactly
So
it.
men
Exactly.
just get caught up in that little rat race because, again, they need to listen to what women want. And then you have some men who genuinely know what women want because their fathers have taken the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm sure your
Mhm.
husband has done with the
Mhm.
kids too. A woman likes this. You need
Right.
to do this for her. You know, I'm not that one who wants to be a man and lug my groceries upstairs. I want a man to do it. You know,
Right.
I mean,
You know,
open
and
the door for
that's
me.
another thing too, because we're talking about different generations.
Absolutely.
And
And these
you
young
have to-
people know.
these millennials, a lot of them, they come from, and I hate to say this, but a lot of them come from
Do it yourself.
divorced
Mhm.
families
Mm-hmm.
where they're either just with a single mom or a single dad,
Mm-hmm.
and you no longer have that culture of
Right.
teaching them how to treat a woman or teaching them how to treat a man,
Right, right.
because whoever's raising them sometimes may not know. And so they're growing up learning on the fly, or watching reality TV, or listening to this music out there that
That
Mm-hmm.
sends
Right.
a totally different
totally
message.
different message.
But the Bible will give you all that too. now.
Exactly.
You know, so if
Mhm.
you read the Bible, you get an understanding of a biblical role for the wife
Right.
and one for the man himself. But I'm just surprised that this particular saying, "boy, bye," originally started in New Jersey.
Really?
Really.
See, and anytime I hear "boy bye," it's the only thing I can think of is Friday when it's bye. Craig.
I think to me
But
that's
it's
like
the
the
same.
same
It's the same.
thing.
It's the same
Right.
concept.
See. And too, when you were talking about there are men who know how to give a woman what they want. What's funny about that is when I've heard, because I'm a people watcher. Some
Oh,
people
yes.
call it eavesdropping. I call it people watching.
Okay.
But
that makes you feel better.
right.
Right.
Okay.
But sometimes I'll sit there and I'm listening to the conversation. And in my head, I'm thinking, he knows how to love you, but you don't know how to be loved.
That's
So that
Right.
creates a problem.
Yes.
That creates a
Yes.
problem because it. Somebody
No,
sorry,
Oh my
y'all.
gosh, this meal way over here. I threw it over here. Give me 1 second. I gotta get off. Go ahead.
But I thought about that as I was listening to her response to the things that he was doing, and keeping in mind they had no idea that anybody was listening. It's not like I was looking in their face going,
Right.
But in listening to it, I said to myself, he very much knows what to give her, but she very much does not know how to receive it, what to do with it.
Well, that
Mm.
also goes
Wow.
back to something that I've talked about in the past, and I'm sure you guys have heard of it, the whole love language thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And that was something that, this is my second marriage going around. And initially, we were always at odds. And I was always saying stuff like, well, you don't give me flowers, you don't buy me presents because, and it took a heart-to-heart sit down where he had to actually sit me down and say, hey, every morning I get up before you do, I fix our breakfast. I iron your
Things you
clothes.
took for granted.
Mhm.
His
Things you
language
take
was
for
acts
granted.
of
So
service.
his language is acts of service, and so I had to really, check myself and realize that, okay, well, I have to understand what his love language is to recognize that, yes, he is loving me, the best that he knows how.
So how do you learn the love language other than by communication or just by
Well,
action?
I read
in
the
general?
book.
Yeah.
But seriously, because and we've talked about this before, but I read the book because it was the same thing. I was in a long-term relationship, and it was all the same thing, always at odds, and he wasn't hearing me.
Right,
In my
right.
mind, he wasn't hearing me, and he felt the same way.
Right,
And so we both went to a seminar.
right.
We had the book, and it was we each went with the intention of so that way you can learn.
Right.
It seriously was. To be honest,
It's just
that's what it was.
you
So that way you can learn, and I'm gonna sit here and be supportive of you
Right.
learning. And I learned so much about myself
Yes.
because I didn't even know what my love language was until I read it and went through, and I'm like, this is who I am, and this is who he is, and this is why we're not
clash.
hearing each other because we're
Exactly.
speaking in
what-
completely
what-
different
Give
languages.
me an example of the difference in the love language, because to me, when you love someone, the language should pretty much be synonymous. I mean,
Well, there's
you're
different,
paying
you know, there's
attention.
acts of service where someone shows their love by doing things.
Yeah.
My girlfriend Dorothy, if she's still watching, she is a gift giver. I mean,
I am, yeah.
she
I know.
doesn't really. I mean, she loves to receive, but she loves even more to give.
Well,
And I laugh because even to my birthday, it's not till December 9th, and she was dying to bring me my present.
It's itchy.
You know, and so finally the other day, Monday, I was like, just bring it to me.
just let me get it now.
See, and I get excited if I do an online purchase. I don't care if it's not for me. I get excited to
Right.
get it
Yes.
Right.
because
that's
I'm that
shopaholic.
excited. No, I'm not a shopaholic. I'm excited to receive that, to be able to give that
Right.
to who it's meant for. You know,
I
it's
think a lot of us from 30 on are probably givers. These young girls, they're straight takers. I don't see them doing the things that we do to make a relationship work. I think that's why the men, you know, are used to women not doing anything for them. It's just like, again, boy bye, because they'll have you, then they'll have your friend, and then they're dating your cousin over here. So
that's because they didn't learn.
They didn't learn.
They didn't
Right,
learn that,
right.
you know, for me, a man should be a provider,
absolutely,
you know, but I've learned that. That's what I grew up with. That's what I
Same
saw,
right.
Same.
you know, so that's
Yes.
what I'm looking for. That's what I
Also,
look
though,
at.
Nowadays, we have a lot of women that are in position. They have their own. So that
breeds
also
a whole
that
nother.
also leads to that boy bye mentality.
Absolutely,
because they feel
the
like,
single
well,
women.
Because we don't
You know,
need you.
right.
There's a
and that's
difference.
and that's the thing, because when I got married the second time around, I had been a single mother for quite a bit of time. So you know, independent. I'm working. I have a good job, making good money, and so it one of those heart-to-heart conversations. We had to actually sit down, and he even asked me, "Well, what do you need me for?"
Yeah, I
You
think
know,
that
because
most
I would, you know, you have to, and then you have to go back to, like the Bible says, you have to make sure that, you know, you play your role as the
Absolutely.
wife.
That's right.
And, you know, I would do that, but then when that day came, or I would go do for myself. And he's like, oh, I see what you
Oh,
mean.
I see,
You're going to
that's
show
right.
me that you can take care of it. But,
So it's
it's
not about
a-
show. It's about doing. You've been doing
Right.
it.
You've been
you
doing
know?
it for so
But
long.
there's a difference. I don't need you.
Right.
And I've said it before. I got an awesome dad. If you can't do more for me than my daddy, what do I need you for?
Yeah, well, I
Okay.
get that.
But so I don't need you, but I want
I
you.
want to
Right.
have one.
And
yeah.
to me,
Right.
that speaks.
That
It
speaks,
should.
That speaks more volumes.
Yeah.
You know,
It should, but a lot of men don't receive it that way.
they don't understand
They
it.
don't
Yeah.
understand that.
And I think too, in the culture that we're in right now, they're so accustomed to being needed, like legitimately needed, that when they run across independence,
They don't know how
they're
to
like, I don't even know what to do with that.
Yeah, they
Right.
intimidate.
That- I don't know what to do with that.
actually. Yeah.
Right.
Where, and I think that there's another place where that whole love language thing comes into play, because I believe that relationships where, let's say, he may not be the ultimate provider, but if he's the ultimate everything else, like if he pales in comparison to everyone else and he still can keep up, it's not like it's diminished because of him.
Right.
It's not, you're not losing anything with him in your life. He's just not quite where you are. We have to make the determination, do we respect the fact that they don't want to be billionaires, but they
Who
do
doesn't
want,
want that?
but but we had, me and some girls had that conversation,
Make that
and
money.
one of the things they said was, I want to help you, facilitate you being the millionaire. I'm
This
fine
is what
with,
the wife is telling the.
that's what the
woman
husband was
is
telling the wife. He was like, it's not that I don't want all of that stuff
Well,
too.
whoever
He said,
has
but
the-
we both can't have a
Yeah,
healthy
whoever has it,
relationship,
right.
and we're running like that.
Right.
He said, that's not going to be healthy for
Take it
either
to
one
you.
of us. He said, I see your vision. He said, let me help facilitate you getting what it
Where
is
you
your
need to
vision
go.
is. And until you think about it like that, you think, well, we all need to be running like that. No, not really.
Yeah, but now we spoke earlier about honesty. What about open? I mean, define open.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were going to open relationship. I was like,
Just open. They open as part of part of the company. Open, honest relationship.
Actually,
Open is quite broad and ambiguous. It needs to
I
be
know,
right.
but when it comes to a relationship, being open is being vulnerable. There are a lot of
that's so
women
hard.
out there that are so afraid to let someone in.
See, I think I'm
They're-
there. I
they're
think I'm that
guarded.
person.
They're guarded. I know someone from relationship after relationship after relationship. It's like you have to start realizing it's you. 'Cause
You're the
each
common denominator in all
person,
these things.
Right.
each person would say, "Hey, you don't open up to me. I don't know what's going
Right.
on with you. I mean, too many people like to live in an environment where they're having a surface relationship. They don't want to get too deep. They don't want to scratch the
Too
surface.
deep to really know.
Well, no,
You know.
because like you said, you then have to see and look at all your damage
Exactly.
and what it is that you're doing, and then be willing to just expose yourself
Exactly. Sit in it.
to all of that. And we had this conversation, a personal conversation, when we were hanging out just the other week,
Last week as well.
about how you have to sit there and expose yourself, and just because there was a time that we all had a make you or break you point in your life,
Yes.
Right.
and so we saw that dark side of ourselves or that
Right.
darkness,
Yes.
and it scares you. I don't
Oh,
care how strong
absolutely.
of a person you are, but
absolutely.
this is something that's either going to make me or break me, and no one ever wants to go back down that road.
No.
Oh my God.
So you don't want to
No.
revisit that in conversation or anything else. You don't want to
Yeah.
revisit.
Absolutely. But again, I think one of my issues is the fact that I don't know. You get to a point in your life where, like you said, you're independent, you've done your own thing, you make your own money, you live your life, you go through the whole thing, and you have to realize, I don't need a man, but I would like to have one.
Right.
I like the companionship. I need the intellect. I've got to have the mental sparring, and I've got to
Right.
have that. And just to have somebody to go to the movies with and that sort of thing.
Right.
But I don't know that women want that now. It seems as though right now men are just interested in knocking boots or hooking up, and the women are just as bad. So nobody's really committed to 19 years of marriage, 10 years of marriage.
Yeah.
Nobody's committed to that. So the institution of marriage is just going to be,
I think there's a certain amount of resignation with women because they've had what they feel like are so many ups and downs, surface relationship, that they've gotten to the place where they've resigned themselves. Because I was talking about this earlier. I said, they look at me like I'm a unicorn in the room.
Right.
And it's funny that you said what you said earlier about arranged marriages, because for the short period of time that I knew my husband, everything you said became true. Because when you marry someone before you've known them a year, within that marriage, you're still building and
yeah.
learning and
It's
working it out
exciting.
and having all those. Well, sometimes it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes it make your head hurt.
Right.
But you know, you're having those heart-to-heart
Right.
conversations, but every time you have made the decision that when you've decided I'm in this to win this, so that means we're going to have those heart-to-heart conversations, and we're going to commit ourselves to being in a happy, healthy relationship, whatever that means, and it's work. And I used to wonder when I would hear people say marriage is work, and I was like, I don't think it should be work. Should it be work?
It's
But I see, I
work.
get
Yeah,
that.
it is.
You know,
Yeah,
when
right.
you get married,
Oh,
all of a
it's
sudden
a
you're like,
job.
oh, okay, I got that.
It's a job.
Friendships are work.
Oh yeah.
They are.
Real
Yeah.
friendships
If once you
Oh,
want
yeah.
to sell
work.
yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
You know?
absolutely.
And it's a
Yeah.
different kind of work than you would expect. I think when I thought work, I thought I went to my job got on my nerves. I wanted to go home. no. working at your house.
Now, I'm surprised that sense of humor means a lot.
Oh,
Oh,
Lord,
man,
yes.
Definitely.
all y'all with the same.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
because you have to be with someone who you can have fun with. You know, make
Who
you
excites
laugh.
you.
Who excites you, definitely. You know, like you said, you like the people watch. My husband, I like to do that too. And we make up our own conversations.
Yes,
Like,
same thing, same
look
thing.
at her sitting over there.
Right.
I bet you she mad because, and he mad because, and then, you know, and you
start
have
feeling
it.
Yes.
Right, absolutely. And see, I'm more on the body language, the observing. Okay, where's this going? My hearing sucks, but he's great at it. You know, so I'm the eyes, and he's over there ear hustling. He's like, oh, well, they're saying this. I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense because right now she's but it's gonna go this way, and he's like, oh, it happened. You're right. It went there. You know, so
Exactly.
absolutely.
Because there's enough things that go on bad in the world. If the person that you spend the
The
most
most of your
important
time.
part of your time
Yes.
with can't have you over there cracking your sides about something that maybe you shouldn't be laughing at, but it's funny anyway.
Right.
Now, a lot of people will mention what they want from a man. They want consideration. They want someone who tells them that they're beautiful and they're intelligent, they're humble, and makes them laugh and all this other stuff. But very few people use romance or use fidelity. What about those two words?
Well, that all goes back to, fidelity. That I'm not talking about love languages there. But as far as romance, because not every person is romantic, and you have to be able to recognize
Really? I'm just assuming. Then
No.
what are you doing?
that.
Well, it's funny. Even for Stephen has different levels of romance,
Right.
and sometimes his romance is actually in a physical act. We'll be sitting somewhere, and it'll be not the fact that he grabbed my hand, but the way he grabbed my hand.
Right.
Or it'll be the fact that we're hugged up watching a movie, and it'll be the way he strokes my back. That to me is very romantic,
Right.
because I know what the other side looks like. They don't want to hold hands.
Right.
They don't act like they know you.
Right, they got that ugly face.
Yeah, always look like we mad. So I know what that. So I think that there are different languages to what is considered romantic for
Right.
different people, and sometimes you don't know what that is until you're with that
Until you
person.
get in it.
And you're
Because
like,
again,
"Hey."
dealing with society and what we see on television, they have everything is so blown out of proportion.
Everything is so
type
over
of
the
God.
top.
of
How
romance.
does a man compete with that?
And he can't
He
compete
can't.
with it. He can't compete with it.
Unless
you
because
you
it's
wear
not
Rolex,
realistic.
They bring
It's not
Rolex
Right.
watches and
Exactly.
No.
Yeah, like that's
you know,
not.
ride Bentleys and
Yeah, that's
And
not.
still, the women are unhappy.
like I should say, give me one of them.
okay.
Give me one of them. Okay.
Still unhappy.
But fidelity, I'm surprised no one mentioned that because that still is very important.
Well, no,
because-
it's not on the list. It's as though a lot of people have just kind of put that off to the side because there's so much other stuff going on in the world that being true to each other, that's an obligation. And I don't know that today's
I'm
world, especially the
surprised.
men,
I'm
the men,
surprised.
I don't know that they want that.
See, and for me, trust goes with fidelity.
Right.
Exactly.
I can trust that you're not going to step out, you're not going to do this, because
Mhm.
open relationships, no, not for me.
No.
I'm
Not at
greedy.
all.
I'm
And,
greedy.
and you know, I don't share. Sharing is not caring when it comes to that.
Exactly,
It's not my
exactly.
thing.
I
And I
agree
even
with
had one of my good guy friends who was like, "Oh no, when he does this, he was like, mine,
Yeah.
Right.
my choice." I said, "Exactly. That is
Mhm.
exactly
Mhm.
what it is for me."
Exactly. Same,
But
same here. Because then you get yourself into an entirely different level of, kind of like what you said, when you expose something to someone and then months later, because remember when you did that and I let that slide? Folks start gritting their teeth and shaking their head. So yeah, I'm not good with sharing either.
I don't think many of us are, but Selena, open, honest communication. I know you counsel on issues like that. Do you have a lot of people who can't be open with each other? They just cannot find that level of generosity, I suppose, to just be kind to the other person. And some people are just downright mean. They don't want to work it out. No, really.
Yeah, they honor.
No,
Yes,
seriously.
they are. And the thing about it is, it's out of fear. It's out of fear of what they will expose about themselves, for the most part. And if you are in a relationship where you really truly care about this person and you consider having a long-term relationship, or you see a future with that person, you should be willing to let down some of those
Some of the
guards.
guard.
And hey, see it from that person's point of view, because even in not just necessarily husband, wife, or boyfriend, girlfriend, even in families. Because when I got married the second time around, it was a blended family.
Right.
Stepfather came into the situation, and there were times when we had to have a family meeting and say,
Round
okay,
table, yeah.
can you just sit here and listen to what they have to say without getting in your feelings? Let them express themselves, so you can see where they're coming from, and vice versa. And when you have that type of communication, that type of openness, then it's not something that's going to make a drastic change right away, but over a period of time, if you continue to do that type of thing, you get to learn the other person a little bit better.
I think we have to go to break, right? Okay, so I guess on that tip we'll be right back. Are there exercises that can be done?
Who are
Exercises
listening
for
to
couples
share your opinion by calling
I mean, in your classes and your instructions
Stay tuned.
Is there a way to pull information out of people that they don't normally just give up?
Well, actually, when we had a couples event, first of all, we make it fun. You know, that
Let me
way
talk about
people.
I'm gonna say that for the show. Right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that-
'cause that-
I like
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I want to say it. What-
Right?
Give me one
Ways to
again.
put.
Right?
You so cool. Like, I was cracking up. I'm like, oh my goodness. Is there a way to? Did you?
Yes, I did.
You should have had
Almost
two.
bought
You'd
them.
be
I started to
okay.
bring a bottle. I was like, no, let me look. You know,
I'm gonna have to
and
start
Funny
bringing
because
some.
when I was filling up before I got over here, I looked. I was like, "Do I want a water?" No, I'm not gonna walk in there.
Yeah, right. Not now.
No, you were talking about how to pull
Okay.
pull
Remember
people.
that question.
Okay. See that you caught me coming in. I had to turn up the fan. I was like, I had it on low. It's hot under this light.
I know, right?
You know, it took me a minute to figure it out, but I was like, that light is burning me up.
Boy, bye. Isn't that something? I know that makes them feel bad.
Right?
Well, and the thing is, when you listen to them and you realize
Oh, don't forget to
how,
read what's name's thing.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I
that's
have
right. And you see how sensitive they are, and how they're not allowed to be that
That's
in
true.
this world, because you got all those shows and all those songs out there that make it seem like there's another one look just
There's
like
another
that.
one right behind you, right.
But they
POF is it.
wanted that one, and they thought that one wanted them. So then you look around, you're like, oh my gosh.
The grass is not always green.
I know. I have a friend who left. This is bizarre. Hispanic girl. She left her ex-husband for her current husband. They're both ill right now, so she's taking care of them both.
Really?
Holy Moses.
She had kids with the other one.
She has kids with the first husband. One.
30 seconds.
Well, I can understand that. That's
So
the father
he,
of my
he's
my
having,
children,
yeah.
or the father of my child.
So I just like the fact that they can get along like that, because I'm always impressed when
Mm-hmm.
blended families, you know,
get together.
it
That's
is what it is.
I've been on holiday trips.
Now
with
that's
10
Tim.
seconds.
No, that
We're going live.
And we are back. You're listening to All About You with OMG and Friends, and we are talking about Boy Bye. And we know that kind of is somewhat painful to men, but we'll get to that in a second. But, Selena, what question will we have for her?
Exercises.
Exercises, yes.
Exercises.
What type of exercises can you do to, and I know you do this with families a lot, which is really more in depth than just a relationship with someone, but what can you do, or what can we do, listening, to pull information from someone who's not that, I'm a talker, I'll just tell you, man, it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So you do have people that are not that gregarious, and so how do you,
First
do
of all,
this?
we have to make sure that, if especially if we're going to talk about spouses or
Mhm.
boyfriend, girlfriend, that you recognize when that person is open to have a conversation.
okay,
Because just like you hear all the time, you know, when women are at home, stay-at-home moms, and the husband's at work, and he comes home and she wants to,
and he
and
has been doing it all day.
He's been doing it all
Yeah.
day, so you know you have to give them their time to relax or whatever. So you need to recognize when they're
That's a
open
good,
to
that's,
that.
that's a
Mm.
good
First of all.
first.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's a good
best
first.
yeah.
And one of the exercises that we do in our couples classes, first of all, we make the whole situation fun, because then it lets the person let their guard down just a little bit, especially when you're in a group situation. And a lot of times when you are going through something in your relationship, you know, just like personally, you think you're the only one. But
Yes.
when you get in a group setting and you start hearing other people talking about situations that they're going through, you realize, hey, you know, we're not the only ones. And so then that also helps them to open up a little bit. And one of the exercises that we did was for them to, they drew out their hand, and for the men, they had to write down everything that they actually loved about their spouse. And for the women, she had to write what she respected about him.
And the Bible,
That-
those two
those
terms,
are-
that's
Love
yeah,
and
biblical.
respect.
That's
big.
biblical,
Because
right.
that's something that we don't pay attention to a lot, and that's the root of a
Oh,
man for the most
absolutely
part,
it
is
is.
to be respected.
Right, and so
Absolutely.
women
And
is
the
to be
root
loved.
of the woman
Yeah.
is to be
That's
loved.
what I said, the Bible is the basis for all.
Exactly, it's the
Mhm.
basis for everything. And so when they go through that and then they have to read it out loud, then they step off. And sometimes they write things down that they really have not articulated verbally to their mate. And so that opens up another level of dialogue.
I like that.
Sounds like a plan, so we should all be, well, you and I at least, they're married. Right? We should be finding somebody based on this.
Okay.
Okay?
Hey,
You you know.
Can you do this real quick? Hang on, put your hand right
Remember we used to
there.
trace our face? Let's do that. Work your way.
Meanwhile, they're looking and going, I
And you
met
know,
this girl.
And then also just encouraging them to have fun together. I mean, we did silly games. You know, I mean, just to have fun with your mate. And so, you know, it's a lot of fun.
Well, you know, a lot of women are opting for freedom and independence. So a relationship is not even something that they're even interested in. So they're the more likely to say boy bye.
Right,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you know what? And it's a lot like the millennials a lot. They're not even thinking about long-term relationships.
They're not, and I don't know
They're
why
not.
that is.
I think
Because
because
they're
of what
worried
they
about
see.
instant gratification.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Instant gratification, and then there are some that are focused on career, but then also, again, dealing with society and then also their backgrounds. They may have come from broken homes.
Right.
And so, I mean, I have actually talked to, like, you know, I divorced and now I'm remarried. Even my oldest daughter, you know, she's living with her boyfriend, and we were like, why don't you guys just get married? And they were like, well, marriages don't always last either.
Oh my goodness.
I
That
know,
sounds like
that's
my
their,
niece.
that's their thinking.
That's their thinking.
You know, we're going to just live together and
And if it
we're
doesn't
going
work,
to
then
test
we'll
it
just-
out.
right.
And if it doesn't work out, then we'll go our separate ways. And if they're okay
But you've
with
used
that.
up each other's lives.
Exactly.
Yeah,
in that
and
time,
I
you
say
know?
that all the time. I tell the kids that all the time. I
Right.
said, you're holding a spot for somebody that's prepared
Right.
to make
Right.
that sort of commitment.
That's true.
You need to let each other
Let it
go
go. Mhm.
so that whoever God had intended for you
Yeah.
can
Has-
find
has their
you.
space.
Has their space,
Exactly.
Has somewhere where they're supposed to stand.
Right.
Because
Exactly.
that-
See, and I've never lived with my boyfriend, with my significant other, because my thought was always, if we're living together, that's because we're preparing to
get
marry
married.
each other.
Right.
It's
Right.
because we both know this is what we want, you know.
Right.
And I had my current dude who asked, "You've never lived with anybody? Why not?" And my initial response was, "Because I got my own ish.
Right.
I got my own. Like I didn't
Right.
need
I don't
to
need
move in
that.
with someone."
Exactly.
But the thing behind that was because there was never anyone that I felt so strongly about that I was like, yes, we should move in together because we are progressing towards this.
Right.
You know, so I knew
And
then.
that's another thing I was going to say, because, you know, even though I talked about my daughter and what they said initially after actually sitting down with them and having a conversation, it was, well, yes, we do plan to get married, but we want to
Test
get in
it out
a
first.
better financial state, a better this, a better moving toward that, you know. So, I mean, but that's just their mentality.
Yeah, because years ago, that moving towards wasn't happening.
No, not back
You
in
just
the day.
got married, realized whether it worked or not, worked through it to get with your family. They
Right.
had parties. You know what Jack
Yeah,
said? Parties
yeah.
together.
Like, oh, we need to, because, you know, it's just like when you
Well,
hear
that-
your vows now, they say that kind of thing. They're like, all right,
What?
y'all, you all are all responsible for
make
helping
sure
these
that's
people.
Right. It's like
Right.
it still takes a village, you know.
Mhm.
'cause,
Absolutely. But that party idea, it makes
they used
sense.
to do parties. I was
Because-
a little girl. I was
because
a little
it's-
girl. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Because
Oh,
it
yeah.
brings you
So-
back to remember when you had fun together.
Right.
Yes.
So it makes sense to
Have a party, yeah.
Right.
You know, it's like you have a problem with your marriage or
Mhm.
something. You know, Daydream's having a problem. We all need to get together and have a party for
Mhm.
you and your man
Right.
to remind him of
Exactly.
all of this.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, who was it? Somebody made a comment that they looked at their wedding video and old pictures, the things that were happening that made them fall in love, because sometimes you forget
You
that.
forget all
Forget.
of that.
So when they started to look at all that stuff
Mhm.
and reminisce and share, and people were laughing, it reminded them and it took them back to that place where they could say, I remember. You know, because you start with just, once again, you start to take each other for granted.
Right.
But I remember why I fell in
Why I
love
loved
with you
you.
and
Right.
what that's about. And we need to get back to that place. We want to get back to that place.
You have to work at it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Oh no, I was just going to give a shout out to LaShonda, and we have Dorothy, of course, who's on there. And Dorothy says her boy bye is when they get physical
Oh, yeah.
or
definitely.
appear that they're going to,
absolutely.
you know,
Mhm.
get physical. So that's definitely
Well, that's a
definitely
good
one on
one.
there.
So
Yeah, that
boys,
is a good
you know,
Yes, we had another listener who texted in and stated their boy.
boy,
Wrong
bye.
one. Their boy bye moment is when he asks for money,
Mm.
Oh,
asks
man.
for sex on the first date,
Mm.
says he forgot his wallet at home.
Well, you have
When
to-
he's over 30, yes, I'm gonna agree with this. When he's over 30 and still wears white tees and thinks it's fashionable,
Right.
I'm sorry.
Really, they do that?
Yes, they
Yes.
still do that. And I need your pants to be at your waist.
Oh,
with the belt.
my lord.
With the belt.
With
the
the
belt.
with the belt.
With the belt.
Oh, well, my pants are sagging because they're too. Well, you don't know what size you're wearing. What's wrong with a belt? Or when they have a belt and they're still no, that's not cute. That grow up.
My boy bye moment is when you have a grown man and he's living at home with his mom. That's still see, and millennials
Depends
on
upon
the younger ones.
why.
Well, yeah, I can get
It
that.
depends
but the
upon
younger
why.
ones just stay home because
They don't wanna go
We
anywhere.
gave them everything.
Well, it's also a culture thing. Think about it. Italians,
They say this
they don't.
culture, yeah.
Italians don't leave. The men don't leave that nest until they got that ring on their finger.
Right.
You know, but
Yeah.
that's the culture.
Other cultures are not that bad. They arrange marriages. They do things a lot differently, but I think their marriages work. I have Jewish friends, and trust me, they're not the happiest, but they are committed to remaining married. They can be miserable. Okay? Seriously. Kids are grown and gone, but they will. There's a loyalty within that Jewish man. And that Jewish woman, she's a screamer. I mean, they can be rich. They thought sisters were bad. Jewish women are no joke.
Well, my
Seriously.
boy bye, I want to say, is respect. If you don't respect me, then you can go. And like I tell my daughters,
But women don't require respect anymore.
that's what
so
what
bad.
I've taught my daughters. I'm like, people treat you the way you allow them to treat you.
Absolutely.
If you demand respect from the very beginning, you're gonna get it. So yeah, if you continue to let them treat you any kind of way, then they're gonna feel like that's okay. But you have to be the one to say, hey, no, I'm not gonna
dealing
take
with
that. I'm not dealing with that.
You have a new. I don't know. This was back in. We all remember the Rohypnol. And so now the reverse roofing is in. Now reverse roofing is women now giving Mickey sort of drinks, date rape drugs to men.
I mentioned it to my husband. His eyes got big as saucers. He was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, I knew when I first heard about it, it had just had to do with a hustle. It was just about trying to get in their wallet. Let me take them for this and do that type of thing. And then it was for those women who were just so determined to have a kid or lock him down.
Wow.
You
So
wanna
you
get-
roofied him. He has no idea what happened. And then hey, this
guess
is your,
what?
Guess
Does it
what?
still work when they're roofing?
See, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
because-
wondering.
yeah,
Does it?
I know, but then maybe
I would know.
What have you heard?
And thank God that I don't know anyone to be able to speak on,
Anybody know?
experience.
We don't judge. We don't judge. Just let us know.
No, if
This
it
roofing
still
actually
works.
happened to one of my friends, good friends, family members, and this was just in September.
Oh, wow.
While driving back across country, we decided to check in a hotel, and sat at the bar and drank. And these two ladies came. They accompanied him to his room. They must have dropped something in his drink. They took his car, his clothes,
Oh,
his
my
wallet,
God.
and basically he was too embarrassed to call home to say, because you got a wife.
Oh,
What you were
see,
doing,
that-
Emma?
you get what you deserve.
Okay.
I don't feel
Why
bad
you
for your
don't-
friend. Sorry,
Exactly.
whoever your friend is, I don't feel bad for you.
So it took several days for him to get, back to feeling man enough to tell his wife to send me some money.
When
See,
you
I'm
do
just
dirty,
saying,
you get dirty.
Women are scandalous now. I mean,
I try to tell people that. I was like, you don't want what some of these women out here are plotting.
they're bringing a whole nother thing. And see, I don't know anything about this roofing thing, but they say it's a mixture of Valium and some other, like I said, Rohypnol and something GMB or something like that. But whatever it is, you don't know how it's going to interact with somebody's alcohol.
Oh my goodness.
So you could actually incapacitate.
Or if they're already on some
That's
medication.
what I'm saying. You can incapacitate these people. So you need to be careful out there, guys and girls, to not leave your drink around.
Exactly.
You still may have to worry about them catching something. Now you got to worry about, okay, now they may die.
Right.
Absolutely. So, but at any rate, I think, we love our men. We do. They just need to sharpen their game up just a tad, And there will always be boy bye moments, and there will always be girl gone.
Right, absolutely.
Good, said, girl.
Absolutely, and don't forget, just because the show ends doesn't mean the conversation ends. You can still continue on with the conversation. Contact us via Facebook, Twitter, on our website, and let us know. Share your thoughts. If you didn't get a chance, or you didn't want to be put on blast. Let us know anonymously how you feel about it, or what your moment was. Whether it was your aha moment to say boy bye, girl bye, or whatever.
Selena, close us out with all of your information, your book, where you can buy it, your organization, Open Honest Communication.
Selena Barnes. My book is All That Glitters: From Selfishness and Despair to Restoration. You can purchase it on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. And then also I have Open Honest Communication LLC, which is all about transforming family relationships through the art of proper communication.
Awesome. And we all can use, there's no such thing as too much communication.
Absolutely.
No such thing.
Absolutely.
So on that tip, guys, we will talk to you next week. We will see you on the radio next Wednesday.
See you on the radio.
Selena, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you for
us.
having
me.
Open,
Thank you.
honest communication. Her book is All That Glitters. It's an easy read.
Yes.
I
Very
read it
easy read.
quickly. Yeah.
Me too. Me too.
So just have a good week. We'll see you
All
later.
right.
Let me see. How do you get that? I guess from
I've never heard
Bro,
about
it's-
that.
It's called Rohypnol.
But I
Yeah.
never heard about the reverse.
Oh, now that's what's happening now.
Until you said it, I was like,
Yeah.
It's happening
looking
now.
at stuff.
You know, women are scandalous now.
Yeah.